Hello again, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to revisit a topic that I discussed a few months ago. I think it's important. And the question is, was the narcissistic relationship a blessing or a curse? I'm going to talk about this today. And I know right out of the gate, some of you guys are thinking, how can you even ask that question, Brian? Are you kidding? Could the narcissistic relationship be a blessing? Why would you even say that? Well, I want to tell you why it can be a blessing. Let's start with the curse. I also want to say right out of the gate, if you are still with the narcissist, if you're still entangled in that relationship, which isn't really a relationship, people call it all sorts of different things. I'm, I think the best term, I guess, maybe I've heard is an entanglement. That's really what it is. If you're still in the entanglement with that person, I can promise you right now, it's a curse. If you're still putting up with the abuse, if you're still attached to that person, there's no way on earth that God can be blessing you to the extent that you should be blessed. There's no possible way. It cannot be happening. Guys, the narcissist, one of the many things they came to do is to pull you back and to hold you down and to keep you from accomplishing what you are supposed to accomplish, what God has for you. They suck your talent, they suck your time. They're the ultimate time suck. But they also suppress you. They pull you down at these low levels. Whatever it is that you are good at, talented at, passionate about, they are going to deprive you of that. You may still do those things, but you won't do them at the same level. You won't even do hobbies at the same level. I'm telling you, like, one of the things that I love to do is fish. And when I was in the narcissistic relationship, I couldn't even fish the same way because the entire time I'm out there casting, working my lures, and I'm thinking about the narcissist. I'm thinking if she's going to text me. I'm thinking about, what she said the other day. I'm thinking about this, that, and the other thing. When I should be thinking about how to catch the fish. They take everything from you. If you're at work, they're suppressing your ability to do good quality work. On no level, guys, are you the same person that the person you should be while you're with them. Almost every blessing is taken from you. So all of this is to say, if you are in the narcissistic relationship currently and you're still in it, if it is in any way possible at all to get out of it, then please do it because I can guarantee you, you will never live up to your potential while you're with them. Wasted potential is a huge part of the narcissistic curse. They're cursed. And so if you're still in it, you're cursed in a matter of speaking. I'm not saying you aren't a believer. I'm not saying that you're not saved. I'm not saying that you're not somewhat productive. I'm saying that there's no way any of those things are true to the level that they should be if you're still in that entanglement. So, yeah, clearly a curse. There's another way that the narcissistic relationship is a curse. If you never figure it out, if you don't come to understand what these people are and what you were involved in, and you stay stuck, you stay trauma bonded, you stay pining after that person, it was a curse. It's going to continue to do what it did while you were in the relationship, maybe to a lesser degree, because you don't have that direct abuse and you're not attached to a demonic person, but you're still going to experience the results. If you didn't figure it out, you're going to wonder about what they're doing. You're going to have FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to wonder what they're doing, who they're with. Why didn't things work? What could I have done better? What was this person about? I mean, what was this disaster that I was involved in? You're going to continue to think those things if you don't figure it out. And guys, I've told you this before, and you probably know it. Most people never figure out what narcissism is. They just don't. You really have to consider yourself blessed and fortunate if you figured out what it is. If God brought that to your attention, and that's what it is, then man, you have a tremendous blessing. So do I. Just to know it. So another way it's a curse without question is if you didn't figure it out. You're still pining. You're still stuck. And another reason why it's a curse on top of that is if you didn't figure that out, you are prime pickings. You're ripe. You're a ripe, luscious berry hanging on that vine for the next narcissist to come down the pike. Because you didn't figure it out. You don't know what they are. You don't know the patterns. You don't know the cycle. You don't know the red flags. And you are very likely to repeat that again because there's a bunch of these people roaming the streets out there, a lot of them. So there was a curse. Um, the narcissistic relationship was a curse because it ruined relationships with other people. It ruins time. It ruins so much. So yeah, I think this is obvious, right? Can the narcissistic relationship be a curse? Absolutely. It was a curse the entire time you were in it. It was a curse when you got out of it while you were still trauma bonded. It was a curse so long as you never figure it out. It's a curse so long as you're not in a place where you are prepared for the next narcissist that might come your way, because they will. I mean, I remember when I got out of the relationship, I'm telling you the truth. Share, drop comments if you can resonate with this. After I ended it with the narcissist, it was almost like she failed her mission. And so Satan sent me other ones. I didn't get in a relationship with any of them. I didn't entertain any of them because I was starting to figure it out. But man, there were 3 or 4 people who reached out to me directly after that relationship, almost like they were waiting on it to end. They maybe they were. And it took me no time flat to say, oh, same spirit going on with these people. I could just tell. So, yeah, those are curses. If you have gone through those things, but let me tell you this, shocking as it is, I actually believe the narcissistic relationship can be a tremendous blessing. It can be the biggest blessing that you've ever experienced. Ever, ever experienced. Probably outside of being saved, the moment you came to Christ and your life thereafter. But I'm saying it is formative. It can be foundational in who you are. Because if you get the wisdom and you understand what these people are about, then you're going to understand that this world is full of hideously toxic, evil people. Most of us, at least some of us, should have known the world is full of evil people. Scripture is clear. Satan is the God of this age. That's what Paul calls him. Jesus called him the ruler of this world. The whole world is under his control, except for those who are under Christ's. So, shouldn't have been a surprise, but we didn't know that that existed. That kind of monster, that kind of evil, that so follows this playbook and does all the same things that the other ones do, that are carbon copies literally of the devil. If you figured that out, then your eyes have been opened in a new way. You can see the world in a whole different perspective than you ever did. You can spot toxic people very quickly a lot of the time. Not always, because remember, a lot of these people are covert. They're covert narcissists. So they're not going to show their hand immediately. But you can start to tell really quick by just select things that they say, select behaviors. You can tell this stuff pretty quickly. That is an incredible power to have. You didn't have that before. You know human behavior now in a way you didn't know before. You know what toxic behavior looks like. You know what the signs and the signals are. You can prepare yourself. You can bolster yourself from those folks. And you also have the blessing to know that your inner circle needs to be very small. You need to have a Jesus inner circle. Peter, James, John, he had 3. I'm not saying you have to have 3, but your circle needs to be small. The amount of people you can truly, deeply trust and pull into the inner sanctum of your life, it's few. It's few. Okay? Because most people follow the broad path that leads to destruction. Most people are still under Satan's power, whether they know that or they don't. So you learn that to carefully vet people, to go slowly in relationships. Guys, I often hear this, and one of the pastors I really do like on YouTube, his name is Vlad. I think he's Ukrainian. I can't remember his last name. He's really good, and he's an example of this. But lots of people talk about how they met their husband or wife and they got married quickly. 5 months, 7 months. I'm going to tell you something. I know examples where that worked. I do know examples of where that worked. I know a couple actually that got married in a month. Okay? And they've been married for a long time. And by all appearances, and from what I know, they do seem to have a good marriage. But let me tell you something. You got very lucky if that happened. And I do mean lucky. You can say, well, God did it. God brought someone into your life and you knew within a month, within 4 months, 5 months, that you should be married to this person. Again, does it work? Sometimes it does, but you got to get very lucky. There's so much you don't know about that person. And most importantly, what you don't know is how they're going to be over the course of time. You haven't seen them in circumstances. You haven't seen what they're like. How do they handle adversity? How do they fight with you? Do they fight? Do they talk? Can they communicate? What if X, Y, or Z happens? And I'm not saying you have to date somebody for 5 years. I'm not saying that. There's no exact timetable, but I'm saying we know now you need to take your time and see what develops and see what characteristics emerge from that person over the course of some time. That's a very important thing. The narcissist rushes you. They rush you at the speed of light. They have to because that they know they can't keep the mask up. They can't keep the facade up for that long. It's too much work. It's grueling labor for them. And they're lazy. They want to ensnare you very quickly. So a good person, a person of the light who you can actually spend your life with, potentially, they're not going to rush you. It's not going to go lightning fast. It can't. Even if you can luck out and you can get married really fast and the person does turn out over the course of time to be amazing, you just got lucky. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's never happened, but I don't believe that God introduces people and says, oh, there he is, there she is, go get married right now. Boom. Don't vet them. Don't pray through. Don't see what their character is like. Guys, it's a bad idea to move fast in a relationship. The narcissist should have taught us that. We now know better. That's a powerful thing. And that applies to all manner of relationships, friendships, romantic partners, even people that you might open up to at your job as coworkers. Don't do it too fast. You don't know. So that's definitely a very powerful thing. That's a blessing we learned from them. That's something that we should definitely take with us the rest of our lives. So we also learned the blessing part of it is you can reach the highest levels that you've ever reached in your life. Believe me, I can say without any question, as do some of you, if it's you, drop comments. You can reach the highest level of life across the board after these people. I'm not saying that it necessarily works this way for everyone. If you're still in entanglement, or you have to somehow co-parent with them, try to co-parent with them, which you really can't. But whatever you're trying to, if you're still in a situation where you can't completely block them out of your life, right? You might say, well, this isn't that great. I'm not the best place I've ever been. They ran through my money. I have to still try to parent somehow with this person. I get that. But in many other respects, you can get to the highest level. And if you're one of the fortunate ones, like me, who was able to have no kids with them, wasn't married, got a clean break, and got to move on with my life, if you're in that situation, oh my gosh, you will, if you do it the right way, you will take off. Yeah, it's going to be hard work. It's going to be very hard work. It might take a long time. It's no timetable. It's different for everyone. As I say often, it takes as long as it takes. But if you put in the effort, if you watch the videos, if you think through it, you pray through it, you go to God, that is the most important thing by a landslide. He is the great counselor, the great therapist. You will get amazing results by going to God with it. If you do, you'll reach a new level. Because the trial and tribulation that you went through is going to do that. Guys, trials and tribulations are not pleasant. We don't want them. We don't pray for them to come into our lives. But we're guaranteed that they will. Jesus said it clearly. Trials are bound to come. Tribulations are bound to come. But take heart, for I have overcome the world. It's not a question. We're going to encounter, especially if you're a person of the light, but everybody does. But if you're a person of the light, we have an enemy who's going to try to make things hard, a la the narcissist, right? Satanic foot soldier sent right into our path. We are going to have to encounter trials. But if you do it the right way, God will take those trials and grow you. You will grow. You will get to a higher a more advanced place. Suffering does something to you. A lot of things. Most importantly, it makes you cling to your Maker. You cling to God. You go under His wing as tight as you can. You embrace Him. You hug Him like you've never hugged Him. You hide inside of Him. And He will teach you, and He will instruct you, and He will build you and grow you spiritually. And you will know it. You'll say, oh my gosh, I was never at this level before. Guys, people who have been through these kind of abusive relationships and come out of them the right way and seek God and seek to grow and don't dwell and introspect and heal, those people can get to a place where others cannot. If you have not been through a narcissistic relationship, you are capped in some ways that you cannot reach unless you've been through it. The abuse that you went through, all the situations that they put you through, you can cling close to God. You can appreciate things in a new way. Imagine now, if maybe you already found this. God bless you if you have. If you haven't, maybe God does have it for you. Who knows? But you can appreciate a good person. Imagine after the wreckage of the narcissist that you at some point encounter somebody like yourself and have a really good, steady, reciprocal relationship that's loving, lasting, a person that's all in, who cares about you. Imagine how much you will appreciate that person in a way you never could have before. You can take it for granted. Guys, people who come out and they find a pretty good person or a great person even, and early on, and they get married, there's a very good possibility they take them for granted. Or at least they don't understand just how special what they have really is, because they didn't see the ugly side of what it can be. We have seen it. Did we want it? No. Did we ask for it? No. Did Satan send it our way? Yes, he did. Did God allow it to happen? Yes, he did. But does God want to take it and grow you and bring you to a new place where you can appreciate life more? The little things, just your everyday peace, just going to bed at night, calm, waking up calm, not pining. The grass blows a little differently. It sways a little. The trees look different. Everything is more enhanced once you've gotten to that place of healing. Afterwards, you appreciate everything in your life more than you did before. Am I wrong? And like I said, boy, will you appreciate a good person if you're so blessed and God decides that He has that for you. So there's so much more I could say, but I'm going to cut this video off because it's almost 20 minutes. And the point is, the narcissistic relationship, it is what you make of it. I know some people have a harder situation than others. I get that, but it's still what you make of it. Do you want to stay down? Do you want to stay stuck? Do you want to let that person devour you? Because they will if you let them. If you decide I'm not going to heal, I'm not going to introspect, I'm not going to do the hard work, I'm not going to go to God, I'm going to do this my own way, I want to try to figure this puzzle out, well, then it's a curse. If you're still entangled with them, well, it's a curse. But if you're going to heal the right way, you figured it out, what they are, you're going to go through the process, go to the great therapist, watch videos, pray, ponder, introspect, heal, grow, ask God to take you to a better place than you've ever been. He will. He'll do it. I'm telling you because I've experienced it. My biggest prayer after the narcissistic relationship was that I would come closer to God than I ever have as a result of what I went through. And you know what? He answered. God always answers. One way or another. Sometimes it's not what we want. Sometimes it is. But it's always for our good. God works good in all things to those who love Him. Even bad situations that He didn't cause, He can still make some good come out of that. And the narcissist is no different. So yeah, use it as an opportunity to reach a level you've never reached. Get to the highest place you've ever been. You can do it. Bad as they are, evil as it was, unintended, undesired as it was, God can take that and elevate your life to a place you've never been before. You never thought you could be. And man, if that wonderful person ever enters your life, you will appreciate them to the ends of the earth for the rest of your life. So yeah, I choose the narcissistic relationship to be a blessing. I choose it. What's your choice?